Hello my friends, I hope you're holding up well. Today we are going to paint a mermaid with oil paints. And because we are painting on a small canvas, we are doing a little trick here and are only painting her beautiful face instead of the whole mermaid. So get your canvas and paints ready and let's begin. As you already saw in the intro, I underpainted my canvas with silver. I always use acrylics for that, because I can start right away and don't have to wait for days until the oil paint has dried. And for today's artwork, I once again painted Qua Shania. This is the photo I used and this is what I turned it into in Photoshop. For today's video, you can either copy my reference photo or make your own reference and follow along with me. Once you have drawn or traced your reference to your canvas, we can start with painting the eyes with a detail brush. By the way, check the description of the video for the full material list. For the dark parts like the lashes and eyebrows, you can mix ivory black and burnt sienna and add a bit of safflower oil or Liquin original to get the right consistency. For the skin around the eyes, mix yellow ochre, burnt sienna, white and cadmium red light. By the way, you can use this mix for almost all light skin tones. You just need to change the amount of each color to get the skin tone you need. Let's continue with the surrounding skin tones. For the area beneath her eyes, let's add blue to the mix, and for the area around the nose, let's add more yellow. I don't make the colors up while I paint though. I find that too difficult. I prefer to paint what I see, so I always prepare as much as possible in Photoshop. So when I paint a different skin tone, I do that in Photoshop first. For the lips, let's mix a dark cherry red, for example with Cadmium Red Deep and Permanent Red Violet from Rembrandt. Now let's fill in the remaining parts of the portrait. We need lots of light grays, browns, ochre and even greens. And don't worry about blending. We are going to do that in the second layer. Now let's quickly fill in her shoulder before we move on to paint the Lotusflower. But before we continue, let's thank today's sponsor Canvy. Canvy is a great and super useful art tool to showcase your work. Because on Canvy you can upload your beautiful artworks and put them into the most gorgeous minimalistic environments. Canvy automatically calculates how big your painting or print is and then put it into the right proportions. You can place it everywhere in a virtual room and place multiple artworks as well. You can choose between different framing options and of course change the size of your work. Canvy has so many useful features. For example, you can save both artworks and rooms and can always come back to create different settings without having to upload the artwork again. If you have an Etsy shop, you can also upload your rooms to your store. It's such a great tool and I can wholeheartedly recommend it to everyone who wants to sell their artworks, prints or photographs, or just show how gorgeous their art looks in a beautiful room. You can use Canvy for free and get 5 free mockups without watermarks, or you can choose the premium membership, which is normally $15 per month. That being said though, Canvy has made available a special forever price for my followers of only $9 per month. Just follow the link in the video description to redeem your special code. But that's not all. Canvy and I have a little surprise for you. 3 of you have the chance to get a 1-year subscription for free. I will personally choose 3 winners from this comment section and announce them here on YouTube in my community tab on July the 15th. Just tell me who your favorite artist is in the comment section and you will be included in the giveaway. So check out the link in the video description and comment with your favorite artist. Maybe you're one of the lucky winners. Okay, and now let's get back to the painting. Painting a lotus flower is a bit different from other flowers, because we can't really use any tricks here. So what we are going to do is painting each petal individually and with the utmost care, so that when we are done, everything fits together nicely like a puzzle. Let's start by adding pink on each petal tip. Next, let's mix a pinkish gray for the bottom sides of the petals. For the top sides that are facing the light, mix white and a bit of yellow or gray. Make sure to not paint with pure white. Everything that looks white most likely isn't. Also, some of the petals cast a shadow on the petals beneath, and on this lotus flower this shadow is green. So mix a light grayish green shade for those areas. Now we only need the pollen stem in the middle to finish up this beautiful lotus flower. Moving on with the remaining flowers and vines. Left off her face I put a delphinium flower because they are so beautiful and vividly colored. To mix this bright color we need a super clean brush and palette. Then mix a bit of ultramarine blue, white and for example permanent red violet from Rembrandt to turn it into purple. Use a flat brush to shape the petals sharply and paint them individually. This avoids smudging and they will look distinguishable from each other in the end. Now let's continue with painting the vines and leaves around the figure. My reference photo of the vines isn't the greatest and the only thing that distinguishes them from each other is their color, so let's mix different shades of green and paint each leaf one by one. Now comes the super fun part of painting her gorgeous lush hair. And for that we can apply a neat trick. I use a worn-out watercolor brush and very diluted paint. I dilute the paint to the point that it feels almost like watercolor. I use Liquin Original or Gamsol to dilute my paint, by the way. Then while painting I turn my brush to get this neat effect. Next we add another effect. We let some oil paint drip over the painting. For that we mix even more Gamsol into the color that we used for the hair and we add that onto the painting. Now we just lift one side of the painting and let the paint drip down by itself. Repeat this process as much as you like and with all the colors you like. After you are done, you can wipe off parts you don't like with a paper towel. And before we can leave the painting to dry, we still need to paint the butterfly. For that, we just mix a light pink for the inside of the wings with white and permanent red violet, and then we mix black and blue with permanent red violet to get a dark purple for the outside of the wings. And now we are finished with the first layer! Yay! And we can let everything dry for a couple of days. Now let's move on with the second layer on her face. Basically, just repeat the first step of the painting process that you've already done in the beginning, but this time try to blend the paint while you are adding it. Also, now with a semi-finished layer beneath, you will be able to work on more details and you can be more precise with your brush. Try to paint the nose as best as you can from the reference. Mix little patches of paint and place them next to each other until you have filled the entire portrait section again. Use an older worn-out brush when you apply paint. This way you can blend the colors more easily. When you arrive at the eyebrows, mix the shade of skin that is around them and draw it along the border of the eyebrows. This way you can naturally blend them in. Paint over the lips again and correct the shape until it looks right. If you are having difficulties getting the right shape of anything basically, compare it with your reference and maybe even print your reference out and hold it next to your painting. Or take a picture with your phone and compare that with your reference. When you place both pictures directly next to each other, it is way easier to find mistakes. Now we are only going to fix some little things with the flowers, just adding some corrections here and there before we move on with painting the butterfly. Because you already painted the wings, you just need to add the black veins on top now with a detail brush. That being said, I personally had major troubles with that because my hand was shaking all the time while I try to paint these fine lines here, so don't worry if you don't get it right the first time. I corrected my own shaky lines by just mixing the pink color again and placing it on top of the black lines. Then let's finish up her hair. The first layer looks already really nice, so we are only going to darken the parts that look too light. This time use thicker paint, so that you can cover up the underlying paint. You can use the technique with the old watercolor brush here too. Now we only need to paint the leaves before we can call this painting finished. Yay! So just mix the same green tones that you mixed in the first layer and paint over some of the leaves. I mainly correct those that have been smudged during the dripping effect, and I also added details on some other leaves. And now we have finished this portrait of Mermaid! Wow! You have earned a big pat on your back. If you made it so far, congratulations!
So painting this was really fun, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I personally just absolutely love to paint characters inspired by mythology and just random fantasy creatures. So painting mermaids is always something I absolutely enjoy. However, the canvas is so small, so I can't really fit in a whole mermaid in that. So I kind of cheat and just say that she's a mermaid. And I mean, she has a lotus flower in her hair, so that can indicate she's a mermaid. And I always do stuff like this. So I've painted a lot of paintings where I claim these are mermaids, but well, I haven't painted the tail actually. So, well, this is the artistic freedom, I guess. If you enjoyed painting along with me, maybe you also like to watch the 1-hour version of it. I made a step-by-step painting lesson on my Patreon page, which you can follow along, and you can download my high-resolution reference photo and my sketch to print out if you want to transfer or trace it on your own canvas. You will also get the material list and also access to over 100 free painting lessons as well for only $5. So just follow the link in the video description or in the comments and join me on my Patreon. And there you can also share your version of the painting in our community there. I will have a look at your piece and give you some feedback. So if that's something for you, go check it out. Oh, and I am also now on TikTok, and I am mainly consuming it because it is so addicting. I've uploaded a couple of videos there, so if you want to give me a follow, I would absolutely love that. I think I have like 60 followers or something. But I really like TikTok. It is absolutely addicting. So if you have an account, let's connect there. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment in case you liked the video. And I hope I see you in the next one. Have a happy painting day. Bye bye.